Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the webinar that is on dissemination of mixed data for impact. This is just a reminder, it's a really casual environment, so feel free to keep your cameras off, snack, coffee, whatever you need to do. Also come off mute if you want to talk or have a question, and we'll hopefully have a variety of visuals and fun exercises during this. At the end, we'll have time to chat on anything that really resonates with you and any questions you might have. So let's get started. Okay, so on this first one, we really want to look at two sets of visuals and see what is really appealing to you in them. And so try to pick between A and B, and also look at one and two and see which one really resonates with you and which one pulls you out into seeing which information you're actually gathering. So we'll take a few minutes to do this. Great. It sounds like some of you really liked A because it was kind of familiar, but B seemed to be a little clearer what's going on. Um, Also, some of you said that one didn't really make as much sense as two, kind of giving that clear indication. I really enjoyed having the really strong um, font sizes and being able to see, especially over even compared over A and B. So this is great. What is interesting is that you can see the same data and really kind of feel differently depending on how it's displayed or showed. It's a perfect example why data visualization is not just an add-on, but it's really a core to the message you're trying to pursue. So the takeaway here is that it really does matter how, as much as what the data you're doing is how you're actually showing it. So today we're going to be digging into some things that you might feel that are really exciting to you, or some things that maybe overwhelm you when you have to do it. But overall, we're figuring out how to share our data and information in ways that people can use them, the actionable way. So what is the overall message? What we want to share and why? How to identify who you really are talking to. Not everyone needs the same information, and picking the right format for that message. Also picking tips on how to organize your content clearly. And then my favorite part, maybe your favorite part, is that data visualization that we started out with today. So at best, you really want data to drive action. This is not meant to be sitting in a report that no one wants to read. It's something that people use. It will help us maybe spot problems that are happening early on with both the numbers and lived experiences. It may be able to help us track progress of something that's happening in the policy of like reducing smoking rates. It's evaluating the impact of whether an intervention is actually working what it was set out to do. It could inform schools to know that they're responding to what's really happening with the youth and what they need. It can help support policymakers with quick and evidence-based back insights. It can also empower communities because when people see themselves in the data, they can organize, they can advocate, and they can act. So the question that you usually ask is, who do you need to see this information and who do you need to act on it? So there's some categories we can think about this in. We can think about champions, the folks that are already in our corner who amplify our message. We have decision makers, the ones that are the power to fund, change, or launch something. The community itself, especially the ones that are most affected by these issues. We have current and potential partners, those are organizations that working in the space. And then we also have the public who may need this awareness on this particular issue and clarity on the issue. A lot of times you're going to find that people are trying to identify those audiences, but a lot of people don't give you tools on how to find your audience. So some tips that are at the bottom of this, you could go back to your community assessment. This is really going to help you find those community of interest, the organizations, the coalitions. Then you also could do a stakeholder map. It really helps identify key individuals, groups, organizations you may want to work with or working with. You can also think about policy angles. Who needs to be influenced by what rules and what data? You can scan for new potential allies. I'm really thinking about their a shared goal or mission. And knowing your audience makes everything easier to do. It's easier to pick the formats, the language, the visuals that would go with it. So next, we're going to think about choosing the right format. We want to actually be kind of understanding that there's a variety. This is just a brief list. You can have other things. You can also do combos of these work too. So the briefs are the 1 to 3 page summaries with key insights for policymakers, partners, and community organizations. You can do reports. A lot of times these are really important and to have in-depth ones on public health issues. A lot of healthcare researchers would like those. Infographics, they're quick, engaging insights for community and individuals. You have webinars and presentations. They're interactive sessions with partners or potential collaborators. You can use dashboards. They're real time for tracking updates. They're really helpful on anything that you're trying to do across time. A short post or highlights. You can also look at short shout outs with key messages and impactful supportive data. You also have story pages and video telling. This really combines the personal experience to reach out to the community. So next, we're going to actually look at organizing information for clarity. So on this page, you're going to hear some key things you've probably heard before, but maybe a couple of extra ones. Crafting a clear message. Making sure you start with a main point that has something actionable for someone that's reading it to do with it. Any subpoints, maybe 1 or 2, can be in the full product, but no more than 3. Provide an actionable statement again, that guiding the audience of what can they do with this information. And then at the very end of your product, no matter what it is, make sure you reinforce that main message and the clear steps. Structuring for readability, really chunk things to make sure that people can see them clearly. And the information is using headers so they can do quick references of knowing what that paragraph or what that data is going to say. Keep it simple, direct, and easy to digest. Try to really do straightforward language. Avoid jargon. Acronyms can be at the end. And avoid very heavy medical or health terms. Really stick to clear language. Enhancing visual appeal. This can be done with some color coding. You know, the headers, you know where to go. It can be using also breaking up the text. It has text boxes and bullets. Integrating data visuals to really support your point. So let's go ahead and try. We're going to do a fun little exercise. So here, we all have had to do some tough convincing of a message of an actionable statement to someone. So here we have some of the toughest crowd. We have a toddler. We're trying to convince the 3-year-old toddler that green vegetables won't kill them. And then we're also trying to negotiate your dog to get off the couch who really believes that they own it. So take a few minutes to either write in the chat or also you can even just come off mute. Talk about what are some quick messages that you could say using these things. One of the things I would note that it doesn't get emphasized enough is make sure that your statement is not only actionable, but is motivating and persuasive to the person that is reading it, or you're not going to get anything, no movement. Getting a lot of great ones in the chat. These are awesome. Thank you for sharing. I love them. Just give it another minute. Just for the sake of time, we'll make sure that I'm conscious of time for everyone. Okay. So this is a fun way, an exercise, just to kind of think through, how do I get people to be motivated? I need to share data, a message, and an actionable thing, keeping everything moving forward. So some of the things that, you could try, we've seen is maybe try just a bite and I'll stop singing, I promise. Or do you know that magical peas can help you jump higher? Getting people engaged, thinking about what is the movement of it. Also, that reminds me of the titles of things of your products is also important. It needs to be informative, not just a report on something. It's what is this report going to do? What's it going to tell me? I also think that my dog would love the last one because she would actually like a walk too. So 1 walk now, unlimited couch later, she would absolutely go bonkers for that. Okay, so we're going to do some effective data visualization tips. You keep hearing the clear, simple, avoid clutter. One of the best ways to do this is ask a colleague, a friend, look at your stuff, see what they see, what can be eliminated. There's always things that can be eliminated or made clearer. Use color with a very good way for looking for contrast, but also being purposeful of your palette colors. Make sure that the data is digestible. It transforms numbers into insight. You can do graphs, maps, infographics, all kinds of ways to simplify the data and really tell people what the data is saying. It's very helpful. You can choose to right tools to help you. Dashboards like Tableau, it's really helpful. Quick infographics with Canva or social post can be made on this platform too. There's other ones as well. Prioritizing the accessibility. Make sure that your items are really helpful for anyone to read, or having a reading screen. They use the full sentences that tell the point of the data is really helpful. Use colorblind friendly palettes. Choose accessible fonts, font and sizes. Make sure the size is big enough for everyone to see. Remove legends and then label just directly on to the data itself. Increase the size of the visual. It helps everyone see it. And add alternative text for everything, from your logo to explaining what your logo means to all the way through the graphs and any kind of flowcharts. On this one, you're going to see the types of data kind of charts. There's many ones out there, but sometimes people are struggling to, what am I going to use? So it's always helpful to look at different ways. This particular one can say, oh, I have one single number I want to show. It gives me a couple ways I could do it. There's also on this left side, you can also see, oh, how would I do comparison ones? And then, or over time. And then there's also some ones for qualitative, helping us understand how we can really show that data. Like, word clouds really do help emphasize what's meaningfully stating out there. Even the way you present, you can do indicator dots, event diagrams. You can do readable quotes that have like a visual to them. So there's many different ways to do this. And then I wanted to do some quick steps on doing mixed data visualization. So sometimes when you think about combining qualitative and quantitative in an actual visual, it gets a little overwhelming. So basically we're going to we've already got the message, that main message we want. We're going to identify those key findings that support your main message. And then from there, you're going to choose the most compelling finding to lead with. Start with that visual first. No matter what logic you think it is, it's really important to have that first relative finding that you want your audience to remember. So begin with that finding and choose it for the one particular data type. So let's say in this case, we have a quantitative. So I'm going to start with that. Think of my visualization on the quantitative piece of this. So here on this, I came up with a trend line. So I'm going to use a scatter plot. And then I'm asking myself the next question, does the other type, the qualitative piece that I could add insight to this visual? And would it give it any contextual things to understanding it? And then once I figure out, you know what, I do want to add something about the injury, I'm going to explore how I could do that. And here you can just think about layering something on. A timeline, you could add notes. You could add quotes to things or icons. And here I added some annotations into the graph showing where that knee injury happened, and that qualitative piece is directly on the graph. So I also wanted to show the most complex ones you can see in the mixed data system. This one is particularly useful. It's also from Stephanie Evergreen. She's amazing at data, so I check out her website and tips. Also, it's really showing a heat map with a kind of a matrix joint display, which is probably the most complex we have, but it really is impactful, gives you a lot of information. However, on the list, you can see that you don't have to get this complex. You could go to a simple one where it shows a statistic with a quote. You could do a trend line like we were doing on the last one with qualitative context. So sometimes you could do the trend lines of tobacco sales with what policies are being passed. You can do bar graphs with qualitative data. You can use them with quotes, or you can even organize the bar graphs based on thematic analysis that you did on the qualitative. And then again, the heat map. And joint, also a joint display can also just be able to show one part will show the qualitative and then the other part shows the quantitative in a table format. And then we just want to do our key takeaways from this segment. We really want to make sure that good dissemination has data that is leading action. It's actionable things that people know what to do with. Know your audience and tailor what content and format you do with it. Make sure you have visuals that are clear, engaging, and purposeful. And mixed method, even better. It has that great numbers and stories together, and it can make an impact to the whole story. And with that, we would love your feedback. Can provide any information on in future webinars of what you would like to see. So thank you so much.